And we're back. Another episode.
Yo.
A Fake Promise podcast. And to kick it off, why don't you do your follow-ups?
You okay, dude?
Sorry, I had a hiccup burp thing as I was talking.
All right, we got a couple follow-ups to open with.
All right.
This one I've been wanting to do for a while. This
Okay.
This might even require another follow-up because it's so complicated.
Oh,
but
damn.
a while ago you said, why can't we just power the world with the Sahara Desert?
There you go.
Just throwing solar panels in there. Which, how did that come up? Was that just a thought you had?
I was talking with energy efficiency with the owner of a chemical manufacturing company that I used to work for.
Okay.
'Cause he would come in, we'd just talk.
And he was just like,
He was
right?
like, there's no way in hell that could ever happen. And I was like,
With no explanation?
Nothing. And then I looked it up and was like, I think it can be done.
Okay.
So I could have been wrong, but
I think the answer is maybe, but
Okay.
it's really fucking hard.
Okay.
So yeah, looking this up, this is like a very common debate that people have talked about for a while.
Yeah.
So first of all, the cost would be insane.
Okay.
One study said it would cost, or you would need 51.4 billion solar panels
Okay.
to cover 115,000 square miles to make an actual impact.
Okay.
The cost estimate for that is $514 trillion,
Oh my God.
which is 23 times the U.S. economy. So right out the gate, that's tough.
That's tough.
It's very tough. And that comes from just estimating the cost of a solar panel like for your house and then considering tons of added cost for building in the desert, like carving out land, carrying resources out there, creating batteries.
But hold on, before we continue, we're talking about powering the world, correct?
The entire world, yes.
Okay. So then, comparing to the American economy is not. Because if it's the whole world, we have to take into account the whole world.
Right. Well, yeah, it's just a reference point for how huge
Gotcha.
that number is.
Fair.
I mean, it would take a multi-country collaboration.
Yeah, which who the fuck's going to do that?
Which, yeah, that would be fucking hard.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, there's also issues with transferring that power from the desert. It's a very remote location.
Sure.
The longer your cables are, the more energy you lose.
Sure.
And it's already inefficient. Solar panels are like, they convert 15% of light to actual energy, and then you lose more depending on how long those cables are.
Got
So
it.
getting it somewhere like Australia would be super hard.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Now there's some other weird ones. I think I talked about batteries when you first brought this up. That's always a problem. Like right now, I think our batteries couldn't do it, but I think it would be reasonable to say like in a decade or so we could have the storage capability to actually store that energy because light is not constant.
Fair.
The weirdest one that I never thought about. Apparently wind carries dust from the Sahara Desert to the Amazon rainforest.
Okay.
And, all right, I jumped the gun a little bit.
I was like, wait, what?
So first of all, if you cover that much land, that much of the desert with panels, solar panels are darker than sand and they absorb more heat.
Okay.
So less heat is reflective, more heat stays, and that could be enough to literally warm the entire climate of the Sahara Desert and potentially the whole world.
Whoa.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's a consequence I didn't think about.
But even if it only warmed the Sahara Desert, that change in temperature relative to its surrounding areas could mess up wind patterns that carry stuff around the world.
Okay.
This is where the dust going to the Amazon rainforest makes a difference.
Okay, so why do we care about the dust, though, that goes to the Amazon rainforest?
Because, let's see, I wrote down some numbers here. 27.7 million tons of dust go from the Sahara to the Amazon rainforest every year.
Okay.
Within that is 22,000 tons of phosphorus that fertilizes the soil.
Whoa. Holy shit.
So it could literally... some people have said it would destroy the rainforest.
Yeah. Or
if that current got disrupted.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say at the very least it would be greatly changed.
Damn, dude. Fuck, why can't I just have all the answers and be simple?
Right. When I looked that up, I was like, oh, are they next to each other? I was like, no, they're not.
They're across the ocean.
The fucking world.
Whoa. That's nuts. I mean...
27.7 million tons in the air across the sea. That's nuts.
Well, dude, there's like what is it? When there's fires across the world, sometimes the smoke will end up in literally in opposite sides of the world
Yeah.
from like giant forest fires. So it's like, yeah, shit's more connected than I guess we thought.
The whole world's connected,
Yeah.
which is crazy because so the stat that everyone says is like, oh, it only take like 1.6% of the desert area
Yeah.
to produce enough power for the entire world, which
Okay.
I think is accurate. But all the problems stem like after you harness that power. It's like, okay, say you got it.
Yeah, the logistics.
How do you
around it.
distribute it, and how do you not fuck up the environment in different ways?
Yeah. Damn. Well, fuck. That was one of the better follow-ups I've ever heard. That
It's
was
kinda crazy,
that was-
right?
Yeah, dude. The phosphorus thing, never would have thought.
I know that
anything
was
like that.
by far the weirdest one, and just the fact that like a relatively small portion of us intervening in the desert
Yeah.
could have a global heating impact.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
This is all from simulation and stuff too,
For
so
sure.
it's
So
like
we wouldn't really know.
how accurate can you be?
But then, yeah, there's a lot of. Well, I won't go into that, but.
Oh, go into it.
Well, dude, like the climate change stuff. I used to be like a die-hard, like, we're the CO2 and the methane, and
Sure,
we're
sure.
all caught, and it's all human impact, and it's like we're starting to have portions of the ocean cool down by itself.
Yeah.
But like we're only creating more CO2 now, and so it's like that goes against everything that people have been talking about. They're like, we're only going to move in a warming direction. Nothing's going to get cooler.
yeah,
And it's like it's something like a large part of the Atlantic Ocean is now like going down in temperature for some reason. Well, again, we can't explain. I think I'm not a climatologist or anything, but it seems like we can get in this space, and also government weaponizes a lot of those policy or a lot of those ideas to make policy in their favor. But
Sure.
there's like a lot of the times we have these like theoretical models on things that we don't actually like. We don't know the history of the world's climate.
it's pretty cocky of us to think we can just map out everything. Like as
es-
complicated
especially
as the
world's
world.
climate, dude. It's like
Yeah,
we don't even know what the last 500 years actually looked like in terms of temperature.
right.
Like we weren't measuring that stuff, and suddenly we're like, yeah, we know what's going to happen in the next 100 years due to our stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I
Like
don't-
even the stuff I just said, like concrete numbers, like millions of tons
yeah,
to the decimal points, like it's probably not
right,
fully
dude.
accurate.
It's
was an-
estimates with like if you were to put that in the context of any like actual good experiment, like a thoroughly randomized controlled trial study, you would look at it and go, yeah, that's like nothing, dude. It's guesswork at
There's
best.
so many. It's conjecture.
Yeah,
Well,
dude.
evidence-based conjecture. A lot of it.
But evidence. So like in the climate stuff, evidence of like
Evidence that could be interpreted multiple ways.
true, but also evidence that's like relative to if you were to actually open up and go, okay, we have the evidence of the past 100 years of what climate looked like and what it looked like now, then you go, well, how long has the world been around? Oh,
Million.
millions, billions of years. It's like,
Right.
Oh, so you took like a minute of a day and measured that and
Yeah.
said, this is what a whole day is going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Not to be the conspiracy bullshit guy, but it's like it just
Right.
seems that now the oceans are starting to cool in certain spots. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's kind
Yeah.
of weird, but nah, who fucking cares?
I mean, I think it's reasonable to be skeptical to a degree of like, is it really doomsday at this exact year?
yeah, I think
I
what
think,
you
I think it's also reasonable to say like we've caused some warming, but
totally, man.
Yeah.
We've had an impact.
Yeah.
You can't deny that. But
I think the degree is, it's reasonable to question that.
well, dude,
I think.
not to always bring it back to government bullshit, but there's a trend of whenever you're told that you can't be against an idea, whether it be a war in Iraq or climate
Yeah.
change, and you get just like attacked for having a view against that, it's typically
It raises red flags.
It does, man, and it should always. Not to say that
Yeah.
everything's always a conspiracy, but when people are like, "No, you're anti-freedom if you don't want to go like kill Saddam Hussein," or "You're anti like human if suddenly that you're like climate change isn't real or isn't as crazy as it's demanded." It's like when you're attacked for those views, it's like, and then they'll find crazy people who are like they're on the other end of that stuff, and then go like, "This is what an anti-climate person's
Oh,
like."
and then to
to just like
disavow everything.
Yeah, dismiss any logic at all behind the other argument. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought this stuff up. Any other follow-ups?
Yes. I got one more. So, a while ago, we asked the question, can you burp out a fart?
Okay,
And the answer is kind of.
hit me with it.
So, okay, hold on. Let me pull up this article. I only really found one comprehensive article on this. Okay, if you decide not to release a fart, some of the gas will be reabsorbed into the circulatory system. From there, it goes to the lungs for a gas exchange throughout the pulmonary circulatory system, and it is expelled through breathing.
Oh.
While this isn't a mouth fart per se, it's the gas from the fart coming out of your mouth.
Technically, you're burping. Well, yeah, you're doing.
So it's not like a burp.
Yeah, you're like slow release.
You're breathing fart out.
Say like an NPR voice. You're breathing fart out. Holy fuck!
It's so yeah.
So something related to that.
How did that come up?
I don't know. Maybe holding in your fart. I feel like it was probably from because we all have grown up and been when we well, I shouldn't say all. Being in relationships when you're younger, you hold your farts in entirely. When you're like a teenager, and I don't know how many times I'd have like extreme stomach aches for like holding in my farts for 4 hours, and I feel like it came up from that of being like, if I just hold in, does it eventually just come out the other end?
Yeah.
But here's another thing I think about that. My friend his sister is a nurse, and people who get extremely constipated,
Sure.
you can get to a point where poop starts to come out your mouth. You can get so filled with shit.
That's real?
That's real. And his sister was literally like experienced someone die from this.
I was gonna. How do you not die like a long time before that even happens?
I have no idea, but apparently you get to a point where you are regurgitating poop because it like
got all the way to your stomach,
processed, and then it starts to back up so much that you just start like poop starts coming out the other end. So I mean that's like it's funny how like it's either you're releasing gas but not burping through your mouth, or you're releasing shit. There's no in between.
Well, okay, if you saying that makes me feel like you can absolutely fart out of your mouth. If you can poop out of your mouth,
but it's like but the same action's not like you're not. I guess we should look up what a burp is.
It's just gas trapped in your stomach.
But why does it have that? Because if like the version of what you just described is like releasing, you're not actually like making a noise.
Yeah. So what I just described is coming from your lungs, like you're just breathing it out. That's not your stomach.
Okay. So then, yeah, if there's like poop in your fucking, you could probably burp a fart then if there's poop sitting there because it's probably poop emits a lot of gas.
So that's verified. What you just said can happen.
Might be worthy of a follow up.
Yeah,
my friend seemed pretty convinced.
I mean, I just Googled, "Can you fart out of your mouth?" and it was a resounding no. So if I searched, "Can you poop out of your mouth?" and everyone's like, "Yeah."
It's possible, man.
I can follow up.
Okay, all right. I think it's worthy of it. But my friend seemed very. I guess I should have looked it up too.
The other thing that I found in a lot of these was your digestive tract is like 30 feet long. Okay. It's like super long. So that's the argument for how it couldn't happen. Because I think if gas kept piling up, I feel like there would just be so much pressure on your butt you would have to release it.
I don't know. I'm so far away from understanding the anatomy and how gas and pressure works. Where like I have no fucking clue, man.
Yeah.
But either way, if we find out, because dude, South Park did an entire episode on that where Cartman was literally shitting out of his mouth, and it was like that would never happen. But then my friend's like, oh no, it happens.
Oh my god.
So
that's horrifying,
dude. Talk about a way to go. You like the last bits of your life are you vomiting poop? That's
maybe the worst. The only thing worse than vomiting I can imagine would be vomiting shit.
You got that right.
It's already horrible.
I think there's no worse form of vomit. Like that is definitely, if anything's coming out of your mouth involuntary and it's shit, that's the end.
That's horrible.
Yes. Wow. Well, that took us on a path.
Yeah.
I'm happy about it though. All right, ready to shift?
Take us away.
Okay. Was on Bumble.
Okay.
And I have photos, as we've talked about before, as men. You just don't take pictures. Like, all of my pictures are either me with friends or, like, and the dating profile stuff, I just put up, like, pictures from my Facebook that are probably, like, 5 years old.
No.
And so, have pictures up there. I've never had this happen. Apparently, this girl went to my school, was graduated a different year from me, but I guess from one of them you can tell, like, was that, or maybe she even knew me. Now that I'm thinking about it more, like, how would she know what year I went to school?
You didn't know her at all?
No. It was just a girl that also went to went to university. And and she was like, I forgot exactly what. Actually, I could probably fucking find it. But she said like something about my pictures being old, and I was like, I have that first knee-jerk reaction of about to be like, "Fuck you, bitch!" Like what? And then I was like, "Wait, how did she figure that?"
When you told me this, I thought you knew her.
No. Let's see. Oh no, it won't let me find those. They're so old. But yeah, so I don't know. I just don't.
Did you have like a graduated at this date picture that just clearly showed your age?
I don't think so. That's where I'm like, I got more confused by it than not. But,
That is super. That's way weirder.
But also on top of it, would you ever be that person?
To call someone out on old photos.
Yeah.
That strikes me as like a bitter, like I'm just tired of dating apps. Like
Yeah.
to say that to someone.
Like I don't even know this person.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, there's some old photos, aren't they? For the first thing you say to someone on a dating
Did you
app.
respond and be like, how did you know?
No, I don't think I responded at all. I think I was like, I'm not going to
Makes
fucking
sense.
respond to that person. That's fucking crazy. The chances that I would want to date that
But
person.
the thing is, they were old. You're admitting that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They got to be at least 5 years old. Where
Dang.
I'm, yeah.
Maybe she just saw your age. Is your age accurate in
yeah,
the profile?
Yeah. That'd be
Maybe
crazy if I wasn't.
maybe she's like, no way that dude is that old based on these pictures.
No, it was in the thing she said was in context to like Carol, the university. It was like she knew I was there at a certain time, and I don't know her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which either goes
I think she knows you.
probably. I mean, it not to say I was a popular.
You
guy
were a
at school.
legend, dude.
I was. I mean, well, I was. Like everyone knew me by the end of like me going there. So it's
There you go. That's
yeah.
probably it.
But it's just hilarious for someone to be like, to open a dating conversation with, yeah, your pics are pretty old on here, aren't they? Like, what do I say back to that?
Maybe it was in her mind. It was like a playful little roast.
Yeah, those people are. How do you feel about?
You don't like being roasted?
Dude, I love being roasted, but
Yeah.
in the beginning of meeting someone, I don't think I would ever roast.
To open it that way is
Even in like first date, I don't think I'd ever roast anybody. Like I gotta have a little more time with them before I'm like,
yeah. That's another level of intimacy.
yeah, for sure. Because it's like, how do you don't know if I'm kidding you or not. It's left up to
Right.
interpretation of
Yeah.
me insulting you.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. So,
For
yeah.
me, I speak very monotone too. So yeah, I would not dare throw a roast out there.
No, dude. I mean, but you have inflection in your voice.
Not really.
You do have a I guess me talking to you, I can tell if you're. Well, I
Yeah,
guess we've been friends for a while.
You know me now.
True.
So
I guess yeah. If you went up to a girl and you're like,
I get it a lot. New people who meet me, they're like, "You're very monotone. Like, why do you have no emotion?"
interesting.
I was like, "I have no feelings."
I've never thought that about you my
Okay,
entire life.
yeah.
But I also like. I feel like the beginning of us being friends was like us laughing and being drunk for most of it.
Probably.
And so it's
yeah.
like what your voice sounds
I think
like.
alcohol like gets rid of the monotone. I start talking all over the place.
You had some octaves I didn't even know were possible.
Exactly.
It's kind of crazy.
I have incredible range.
Oh, truly. Okay. So yeah, that roasting early into dating someone, and also not to be sexist, cross gender sex. There's a little bit more landmines you can step on. We're like, if I go roast a guy, it's
Me
more
roasting a woman is crazy.
exactly
That I don't know well.
Yes.
Even someone I know well.
That's when dude, I rarely roast women in general because
Yeah.
for that reason. So it's like, if I was to go on a first date and be like, "Oh, you stupid fat bitch," just kidding. I mean, yeah,
That's not even a roast.
that's just being blatantly mean. No, I'm just kidding.
It was a joke.
It's just you don't get it. But yeah, even dude, I can go on and on about this, but like,
You need to. Sorry. Wait,
what?
Go.
No, no. Tell me what I fucking need.
You need to go on a date. Like, actually meet one of these people.
The crazy people.
Or you never go on dates, though, right? You just. I'm calling you out.
Yeah, no, I truly have all these conversations. I never pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So yes, yeah. I mean,
Purely for research purposes. That's the only reason I'm saying
but
it.
then I feel bad too. That's the one part that's hard for me to be
you're
like,
just harvesting someone's emotion for entertainment of our listeners.
Exactly, and then just publicly broadcasting it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. No, I'll if another crazy one comes up, I'll see if I can pull something off. But dude, it's so hard to do that like knowing that I'm doing this for like
You're entirely right.
yeah, it's tough. Similar thing came up, which is totally different, but my buddy was like, dude, you should be like interviewing around while you're not looking for a job. And I'm like,
Oh.
feels like I'm just wasting people's time knowing I'm not going to take a job.
Yeah.
So
if there's no chance you're taking it,
that's what I'm saying. I was like, I don't want to leave where I'm at. He's like, well, dude, you should be like job shopping around all the time. Like, I don't think so.
that's a pretty common take I've heard. I don't
Who's
necessarily
doing that?
agree. Like they're like, just know your worth. Like know what you could get.
Yeah, but like you don't have to interview. I don't know, man. There's enough metrics out there to know kind of generally what you should be worth, and
Yeah.
maybe if it's a niche market, no.
Or I think the other argument is just to keep your interview skills sharp.
I hear that one too. There's that part of me that goes, I feel like I'm lying to someone the entire time. If I know I'm not taking the job and I make it to the final interview, and they're like, "Here's an offer," I'm like, "Nah, I don't want it." It feels so disingenuous.
Flip side, companies interview people all the time that they have no intention of hiring. Because they have to fill quotas. Like, you have to interview 5 times for this job, even when they already know a candidate that they're going to pick.
Let me counter that counter.
Okay.
I've been the guy interviewing someone, and I know the amount of it's so much work to go through client after client. And when you find someone where you're like, oh, this is gonna be good, to have that person be like, no, there is an idea of the company does it all the time, but then the people, the boots on the ground doing the interviewing, it sucks, dude, to just like put in all this work and then have to be like, nope, now you got to start all over again.
I feel you.
It's
like the same as dating. It sucks.
Yeah, dude. So I just don't want to. I know the companies do it all the time, but I don't want to like be the guy to have to fucking cause someone to go through that shit. Like literally wasted time, I think. So anyway, had to get that one out there.
Sure.
All right. New Jersey and Rhode Island won't prosecute for incest. Isn't that interesting?
Yes. I think.
Good answer.
I've never thought about it. What happens in an incest crime? Like someone
probably reports it. Yeah.
So that implies it's someone outside of the people involved. What if it's consensual?
I think it's mostly outside.
Okay. So
because if it's not, then it's rape.
Right.
Yeah.
So consensual incest exists.
Yes, most definitely.
And someone else is like, fuck.
He's like, I know
that's
people.
wrong.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then they can, well.
No,
yeah.
it's they should report it, but it's just wild that that's the mechanism.
Yeah, I guess it's like, how else? Because if those people are doing it and they're happy about it, they're not gonna go anywhere and tell any. Well, they might tell people, but
what if
they might not report to the government?
What if they're happy about it, but they just feel guilty and they just turn themselves in?
Interesting.
I doubt that happens.
Yeah, I very highly doubt it. But I don't know, man. I thought it was legal everywhere. Or sorry, I guess it is illegal everywhere, but those two places don't prosecute. So if someone,
so it's effectively legal.
Effectively, but I think you like get processed. So like someone could report you get processed, and then when the case comes to a court,
just get a ticket.
They just for fucking your brother or sister. Yeah, dude.
Just a misdemeanor.
I mean, I want to know the numbers on incest. Like, how common is that? It can't be that.
I would imagine very uncommon.
Yeah. But even in my head nowadays, it seems like a remnant of the past where there was very, very, very small towns and pockets of people who are disconnected. Mm-hmm. And, like, the only way of making more people was to just, like, the only woman or man in a 10-mile radius.
Is your second cousin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, that's not, but we're talking, like, sister, brother, which I think that's been frowned on, though, for most of human history. Like, people aren't fucking their, like, relatives that, well, I shouldn't say that.
Well, Adam and Eve.
Well, if you want to make that argument, we're all fucking related.
Exactly. It's all incest.
True. We are just dilution from supposedly one. So it's like, and I'm not a geneticist, but I wonder if there's theory behind, like, the reason why mutations exist is because you fuck someone close enough in the gene pool that you didn't know.
Oh, okay.
And there's also the randomization part of it too, right? Like, there's a chance that people having incest don't have a fucked up kid. that could totally happen too.
Hmm.
But like, I wonder if it's like, oh yeah, if you two fuck, you have a high % chance, and it's because you're just like,
Because you're 800th cousins instead of like a millionth cousins.
exactly.
Dang.
Yeah, would be weird. But yeah, it would be also imagine like going through even if you weren't doing incest and someone reported you, you'd have to like your name would be so dragged through the mud forever.
Someone reported you for incest?
Yeah, because like you'd have like cops.
I know this guy fucks his brother. That'd be crazy.
Dude,
I feel, if you're reporting incest, you got to be certain.
how are you certain? Other than seeing it.
You watched it. I feel like that's the only way.
Yeah, but how often is...
We should look up how often it gets prosecuted in other states
Yeah.
and like how that proceeding unfolds.
Yeah, I don't even know what the charge is. Or I don't know if it's a misdemeanor, I don't know if it's a felony. I have no idea.
Didn't we look up something like this where there's degrees of incest?
It feels familiar what we're talking about. I don't
like
remember
brother
now.
and sister would be the highest degree, and then like
Yeah.
cousin is lower.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I think we looked that up in the... No, it was like a legal standing. There's a certain point where it's not illegal anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's like you can actually sleep with your cousin. I think that was the...
Yeah, something like that.
I swear that was it. Because I think that conversation also started from like the percentages of like you having to fuck a genetically mutated kid
Yes.
is way lower than we thought. Where it's like
Sure.
even between brother and sister, it's like 3% or something,
Mm.
and then beyond that, it's like abysmal, like in low decimals when it's
Yeah.
like cousin and stuff. But anyway, good follow up though to figure out what happens when they prosecute for incest. What's the charge? Who's doing it?
Did you see anything as to why they don't prosecute?
No. Also, two random places to not do that.
New Hampshire, New Jersey?
Rhode Island, New Jersey.
Right, okay.
Like, yeah, I don't know, because I could see like
Those are connected, right? Or no?
I don't. I know they're super close. I don't know if they're technically connected. It's just one of those things too, where like, if it was like New York and California, I'd be like, oh, okay, super left leaning, weird policy. Like I could see it falling under that umbrella, but like New Jersey, I think is a pretty
Those are two of the least thought about states, I feel like.
right. So it's like, why? Good questions all around. I have no answer for them. Okay. Tupperware files for bankruptcy because they make products that are too good.
Explain.
They're filing for bankruptcy, and in my head, I go,
Oh, because they're not selling anymore.
Right.
I have Tupperware that's like a decade old.
there you go, man. They made a product that literally is just, you don't need it anymore once you have it.
So they formed a company,
Yeah.
solved a problem worldwide, and now they don't need to exist.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Isn't that all? I mean, it's like, you can, whoever was the creator of Tupperware can go, I actually solved a problem.
and brought it to its conclusion.
Yeah, dude.
That's nuts.
What other company's done that? Been like, done, on to the next product.
I don't know. Do they make only plastic, or do they make the glass ones too?
I think they make glass things now, too.
Okay, because I was wondering if a lot of people are pushing back on plastics and microplastics.
Yeah.
If any of that is part of it, but
Could be.
is it literally just because their products stay around?
I think it's because they stay around. I think it's because it's such a good product. So I think that they've been in glass for a long time. Because I have some Tupperware baking sheet things.
Sure.
But yeah.
Honestly, that's also one of those companies I didn't even realize. You don't even think of that as a company. That's like an object.
Right. It's almost like a government entity that's just like, here's your Tupperware, you get it with your house.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, all right,
Yeah.
here's the Tupperware. I think when I was writing that down, I was trying to think of other companies if they've ever gotten close to solving, like a company that was so good that like you buy one, it's like, well, I don't need anything else ever again in that realm of product. And I found there's a story about a car that I can't remember. It was either a Honda or a Toyota, and it's like the profit it was such a good car, and it was more sporty-ish, but the profit margin after everything was said and done was like $1. And so
Okay.
they were making this car that everybody loved so much, and then it just discontinued purely because it was like they were making the product out of like altruism almost,
Sure.
like just to make it.
Yeah, to not take that profit. You
Yeah.
can't. That's just a poorly run business. To
Right.
be
You're
quite
just
honest.
doing things to do things. But that's the closest thing I could think of. But I can't think
But
of
that car will break down, though.
for sure. Yeah, that's definitely not like you have it, you're good
Yeah.
forever. And you can make the argument for the Tupperware that like even when they go into the glass realm, you can break glass like plastic Tupperware never breaks.
Also, I'm kind of surprised because I have old Tupperware and like every couple of years or so, I'm like, this is old. I'm just gonna throw it away. I feel like a lot of people do that.
Yeah. But I can say this. I found more households to have more old Tupperware that's been around.
Sure.
That has, like, pasta stains that have been there for 20 years. Yeah. And it looks disgusting. They still fucking use it. I mean, dude, going through, like, living with roommates in colleges, I don't know how many, like, cabinets were just filled with Tupperware from, like, all of the people conjoining their Tupperware masses.
Yeah, dude. I've had some massive Tupperware cabinets.
Yeah, it's like, becomes like most of our kitchen stuff is just Tupperware.
No.
Yeah. So, anyway, cool stuff.
I guess anything plastic could be like that. But Tupperware is I feel like that's one of the most utilized plastic things.
We gotta think of the use, too, because it's like, yes, most things can be entirely plastic, but then it's like, Tupperware just has to literally exist in the shape. It doesn't have, like, a function. I guess it stores things, but it's not like...
It doesn't have to look nice.
And there's no, like, motion that would cause parts to degrade. It just sits there, and it holds. And plastic is...
just doing its job for this country.
That's all it...
Asking for nothing in return.
It's the most American product you can ever think of.
God,
it's probably a Chinese company. All right. Pornhub Premium is available to the top 10 sexually named cities. I put one example in here. It's called Cumming, Georgia, with 2 M's. Cumming.
What did you just say? What are you talking about?
Pornhub.
Yeah.
There's a free version, and there's a premium version you pay for. I don't know who the fuck would ever buy premium. Like, it always blows my mind when I find out.
Isn't the free stuff good enough?
There's so much of it. How could you want... Maybe the premium is just that good. I have no idea. But... apparently, Pornhub, the top 10 sexually named cities in the United States, gets free premium.
That's what I'm confused about. Who does that? What do you mean sexually named?
Well, an example of a town is called Cumming.
You mean literally like wordplay?
Yes, like a town is called a sex name, and so they give the entire town with that zip code free premium.
The town is called Cumming.
The town is called Cumming, Georgia. It's in Georgia.
Do you got other ones?
I only got that one. I probably should have wrote down more.
That's unbelievable.
Right?
When you said that, I thought you meant like some entity decides who the most sexual cities are and gives them free Pornhub.
Yeah. No. It's all in Pornhub's control, but they are deciding for sure.
Huh.
Yeah. So looks like I'm moving.
Cumming, Georgia.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's such a random...
It'd be weird to have that as like a badge of honor for that town. Like, there's no way anything else goes on in Cumming, Georgia.
Right. You're just like the Pornhub Premium town.
Yeah, that's your fun fact.
We all have Pornhub Premium.
Yeah.
We're all freaks. It feels in line with, like, they're starting to become sponsors in sports from, like, OnlyFans and stuff like that. And we're, like, starting to merge into this world where sponsors are, like, beyond sex toys, but, like, literal just sex sites.
Yeah.
And I guess, who gives a shit if they have a lot of money? OnlyFans has to have so much money.
Probably.
Damn, dude. But yeah. Cool stuff.
I'm totally, first order of action, I'm going to find all the other cities.
Sounds like another follow-up. Yeah. A lot of follow-ups coming out of this podcast. What time are we at? All right, 30. We got plenty. Oh, man. I guess, I don't even know if this is a pet peeve, but when you're, not to bring it back to dating apps, but when you're looking through some of their descriptions of themselves on their dating profile, and it says putting, like, people almost advertising that they don't exercise. I'm like,
yeah.
What do you think that does?
That's a horrible selling point.
Yeah. Like, what? I try to wrap my head around, like, how they would view that.
Honestly, that's might even be more altruistic. It's like, just so you know, I don't exercise if that's a problem for you.
Could be, yeah, just being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, a selling point. Because I think there's people who, like, would be exhausted if they were dating someone who was, like, a hardcore workout person.
That's true.
And they're not into it at all.
I guess I just think of, like, when someone says, I don't exercise, I imagine them not moving ever.
Yeah.
Because I get the hardcore workout argument of, like, I don't want someone who's, like, hiking most times of the week and is working out a couple hours. Like, someone who's, like, like that is their life.
There are people who it's their whole life,
Which I get.
You can almost tell by looking at them. It's like you spend hours in the gym.
Yeah, they look phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
At the cost of their soul.
yes, exactly. But the not exercising at all. It's a red flag for me. Not to be.
Me too. I went on a date with someone, and she said that she looked fine, by the way.
Oh yeah,
but
some
she's
people,
she's like,
yeah,
I don't work out, never have.
yeah,
And in my head, it's like, that's gonna catch up to you
for sure.
at some point.
Yeah, I mean, if not physically, because like you could control most of it through the kitchen by just eating
Sure.
good foods. But like mentally, dude, if you're not moving all the time, or I shouldn't say all the time, if you're not moving the minimum of the recommendation that the government puts in place, which is like 150 minutes per week of
Which
moderate
is-
cardio, which
yeah,
is like
not a lot.
going on 30 minutes walk a day,
Yeah.
your brain just starts to like turn to shit, dude.
Right.
I mean, if you ever want to test that theory, it's very easy to just like experience what no exercise feels
I can
like.
feel it firsthand. Like I know
Yeah.
when I go a while without doing anything,
Yeah.
my mood gets worse.
Dude,
it's very noticeable.
We're built to move so much.
Also, to your point about like you can control that through the kitchen, I feel like someone who doesn't exercise, odds are they're not like a hardcore kitchen
True.
health
Yeah,
person.
they tend to go hand in hand.
I
for sure.
did have a friend, kind of an acquaintance, who like went on a hardcore like weight loss journey.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of like heard about it through another friend, and then I asked, I was like, "Oh, so what's his workout plan?" They're like, "No workouts. It's all through the kitchen."
Sure. Yeah, it's doable.
And I was
man.
like, "Great, but also run or something. Do something."
yeah, well, dude, well, I can see both. I can see arguments for both sides because, like, someone who wants to go through a giant weight loss journey, I can see it as it being too much to do both. And if one's going to get, in all
Sure.
honesty, if you're looking
Kitchen's more
for way more
results.
important for weight
What-
loss,
Yes.
for sure. But exercise, here's the weird thing, at least for me, when I start eating better, I want to exercise. It makes me have, like, I
Okay,
have the
yeah.
energy to be like, I want to go move around, I want to go lift weights, I want to do something.
Oh yeah, you have McDonald's. You want to just
Ugh.
collapse.
Do nothing.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of workouts on McDonald's,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't feel good.
Right.
So I get that point, but it's like the people who are like, oh yeah, I don't exercise at all. Like to me, I go, you're living a deficient life. You don't know what it feels like to like,
Yeah.
dude. If you've ever been in good cardio shape, your life is on a
Feels
different
amazing.
plane. Yeah, dude. And so for someone to be like, I don't do that ever. I just assume you're working at like 50% capacity
Yeah.
of like what you could be. And also, I don't want you to be a project for me.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't like.
Honestly,
dude,
I would rather, even if they looked fine, I would rather like have someone who looked worse but says they exercise regularly.
yeah,
Like knowing the habits are there.
Yes.
Because if you say I don't do it at all, odds are you will never do it.
yeah.
It takes a lot to overhaul built-in
Yeah.
habits, especially like, I don't know, at age 25 plus, maybe
Yeah.
30 plus.
It's hard to undo that. I think you're totally right. So I think we're agreeing here on most things. It would be crazy just do an experiment, just not exercise for like a year. It's like you'll literally exist on a
I feel like
couch.
people have done that. Like the,
That's true. I mean,
the
people.
Super Size Me documentary.
Oh yeah, or
It's
like
a more extreme version of
or like
it.
someone. I guess you do get to a fatness where like you can't move. Like the My 600 Pound Life people, like
Yeah.
they literally just exist on a bed. But I think
It's
at that
tough.
yes,
It's tough.
I think at that point though too is that like you feeling unhealthy from not moving doesn't even come close to like the unhealthy feeling from being 600 pounds. Like you have no clue.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you got up and walked, you'd probably feel actually worse if you were 600 pounds.
Right.
So
The deeper you get into that, the harder it is
yeah,
to get out.
absolutely. All right. On to the next thing. Does anyone track professional women's sports period cycles for betting purposes?
This is one of the more interesting thoughts that I've heard in a
I'm
while.
not a sports betting man, and I don't watch a lot of sports, but I don't even know if I coined this thought, but I might have heard it somewhere, and I was like, that's got to affect people's game.
My first question is, does anyone bet on women's sports?
Oh, dude, there's got to be.
There's
With, like,
got to be, especially now with
like DraftKings and all that shit. There's no
Yeah.
way that some gambling addict isn't
and
like
the WNBA just got super popular in the last year,
That's super popular.
comparatively to how it
Fair,
was.
fair. More popular than
It was non-existent.
Gotcha. So yeah, I think so. Because there's people who are like betting on like high school baseball in places in like other countries. So I think that
nuts.
people are definitely betting on women's sports.
Yeah.
So back to the main question though of I believe, having dated women and having grown up with women, it seems like the period affects them in a negative way most of the times. Varying degrees of it, where some are like they can't get off the couch, and then some are like, yeah, I just have like a headache today. So I gotta imagine that factors into...
It has to impact performance in sports.
Yeah, dude.
I'm going to start asking people that.
Dude, imagine if we just like figured that out and then we just made millions of dollars off of women's sports.
How do you track their cycles, though? That's the information you would need.
That's true. We gotta go to the front lines, start asking them.
DraftKings has to be working on that.
And they just like do
I bet Vegas knows, dude. Vegas knows everything.
True. I wonder... I feel like you could figure it out somehow without actually asking them. You might even look at like...
You could find dips in performance.
Exactly, dude. It's just like tracking. If there's any consistency in dips, you'd be like, this could be it.
That'd be... I think purely off that data, it'd be extremely hard.
True. Well, it's a good seed that's planted.
You're onto something.
I hope I can make a company out of it. I mean, dude, here's the more fucked up thing, too, is that the last girl I was, like, hooking up with, she had an Aura ring to, like, track her ovulation cycle.
Yeah, they have apps now.
Yeah, and, like, so all that data is going somewhere. Someone has all that data.
Harvesting it.
Yeah, apparently, because I didn't know. I thought the Aura ring was truly just a sleep thing, or maybe I thought that's what it was for. Mm-hmm. And apparently, a lot of women are doing that, getting this Aura ring thing to track their data. So it's in a database somewhere, a ton of it.
Yeah.
So if anyone leaks that, we'd have a new world of sports betting.
That'd be crazy to be in the world of information harvesting. Like I kind of want to know what that looks like. Like when I log into some website, and my data goes into the ether, who looks at it and processes it, and what do they do with it? Yeah, I want to be on that side rather than this side.
That's what I do. My job is. I mean, we do that just with medical data. I think we have trillions of.
But that's
rows.
like voluntarily given, right?
True. You could argue the website one is too. But it's not
right. It's a little sketchier.
Yes, there's a lot less understanding of what's actually being given away.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just playing devil's advocate to be an asshole.
Fuck you.
All right, I'm done. Call it. So yeah, we'll see if that ever plays out. I wrote something down here after watching a movie, and then it got late. I wrote it, saw something in a movie, and I was like, "That's ridiculous." Wrote it down. The movie went like maybe an hour longer, and they explained why it was ridiculous, and it was planned, and I was like, "Oh, fuck, now I feel like a dummy."
They caught you.
Yeah. So
what was it?
There's this. You ever heard of this movie called Platform? It's on Netflix. It's like this. I thought it was a cool concept. And I think it's a Spanish movie. It's a horror movie. There's this a building that's like 450 floors tall, right? Okay. And each level you have pairs of people. And this platform starts at the top, and before you enter this thing, they never really explain the reason why people are set here, but they find out what their favorite food is. And on this platform, at the very top, it has everyone's favorite food that are of the 900 contestants, because it's pairs of two. Okay. So the platform goes down, it has all the food, and the thing is, can the people cooperate in only eating their food so that the people at the bottom get their food? And then after the platform reaches all the way down, the night they sleep, they get switched. So then the ranking of the people switches. So some people from the bottom could be at the top, and it's like the whole concept is, do people tend to go into chaos and eat everyone's food once they're jaded? Like the people at the bottom, if they don't get their food and they get switched to the top, do they start eating everyone else's food? And then like letting that system
Is there enough for each floor to eat only their food and be sustained?
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. So if everyone only ate their food, it would be okay.
Okay.
And so this is the second edition of this movie. And there was the main girl, she's paired with this guy who's like this big, brutish Russian dude. And he was a mathematician, and they keep like alluding to his past. That he like burnt down his house and killed all of his family and stuff like this. And eventually she's like, "Why did you do that?" And he said, because he was a mathematician, and because imaginary numbers in mathematics don't exist. I'm like, well, yeah, but they serve
So that made him go crazy?
That made him go crazy and kill his family.
Okay.
And I was like...
When you wrote this on the sheet, I read this, I thought it was a real story. I was like, that's insane.
I mean, yeah. That'd be crazy. Hence why I wrote it down. Even in the movie context.
The way it read on the sheet, too, it started out like somewhat
Yeah, it's like guy in platform 2 quits job. It sounds literally
go
like
homes and burns his parents. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So, and then later in the movie, I think they explained, like, he would just say that to detract from the real story. He was like a good guy or something like that. I was like, oh, fuck. That's.
I'm interested in this movie now.
It's pretty good. It's fucked up. Because, like, there's some, as you can imagine.
It's a horror. I feel like even without the horror aspect, that could just be an interesting.
And horror,
concept.
maybe thriller's better. Because it's not like, you're not seeing anything, like, scary.
Sure.
It's just, like, some brutal stuff and people just, like, yeah, the worst versions of humans because they get put in, like, starvation situations and then having to, like...
So they are starved.
Well, I don't want to give away the fucking movie.
I'll watch it sometime.
Yeah. And this is the second one again. First one was pretty good. Second one's also good. All right. Posting on Facebook about hitting every red light on road. Man. Every once in a while, I'll hop on Facebook. And
you got to check in like once a month.
Every once in a while. Just to get a feel on, like, all the people I used to know. What's going on? Just want to see. And it blows my mind that there's people that are... What I just described. Someone hitting every red light on a road while driving. Someone's making a post about that. Like, they're just throwing that out there.
Yeah, like, what, why?
Yeah.
Right,
Like, and I didn't click on it and go to see, like, on their page, but I gotta imagine their page is filled with, like, updates like that. Like,
how bored do you have to be?
Dude. And, like, when I look at it, and me talking all high and mighty, I just see, like, them attached to social media in a way that everyone talks about being addicted to social media, where, like, that for them and the small amount of likes they get on those is, like, the thing that's keeping them up and running.
Yeah.
Which is it's a dark thing to...
It is, that is, yeah, you made it really sad.
Yeah,
it is sad. It is very sad.
But I mean, initial knee-jerk reaction when I see it, I was like, oh my God. Like, you fucking... Really? You attention-seeking piece of shit. Like,
dude, anytime I think that about someone, for whatever reason, if you dig deeper, it's like, oh,
it's immediately sad.
I just feel bad for you.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I saw that, and I was just... Like, I don't know, man. I just don't use a lot of the social media stuff now, and I see someone dedicating time to making posts like that. Even when they're good posts, I'm still like, yeah, you post on social media. And so, like, when I see that one, I'm like, wow. Just throwaways. Or, like, people posting really personal stuff of, like, yeah, I've been going through a divorce with my husband, my kid's not, like, and also not, like, not really an update, more to just say, like, this is just, I guess it is technically an update.
You're just saying your feelings to the world.
Like, there's no purpose to it. Yeah. It's just, like, just vomiting, like, whatever's going on.
Did you ever used to post?
Yeah. Oh, when I was, like, I don't know.
Did you have Twitter?
Twitter, very briefly. I don't think I ever posted on Twitter. But, like, Facebook, you can find some nasty stuff from back in the day. Which...
Still there? Can it be found?
Dude, every once in a while, Facebook goes, you remember this from 2012? And I was like... Dude, might bleep this out. My sister sent me this because my sister's 5 years younger than me. And, I had a lot of close friends growing up that would come over all the time. And my friend posted a picture of us at, like, a party. And my sister, the only comment is, Jake, you fucking
oh my God.
Open on Facebook.
Remember this? 12 years ago?
Dude. It's like, oh my God.
It's almost good they do that, because if you...
Well, dude,
did you delete the post?
I try to go. I don't know how to find them. I try to, like, dig through. I don't.
They show it to you behind glass. You're like, can't touch it, dude, but here it is.
I swear to God, because I've had that come up. Not specifically the F word, but I've had other ones come up where, like, I've literally, like, openly posted, be like, this shit's gay as fuck. Like, I've had posts like that from when I was, like, 14 or 15, and I go try to find it. I'm a computer person. I have no idea how to find my old posts.
Buried, dude. It's almost like we have dirt on you.
we're gonna
keep it.
It's fucking terrifying. But yeah. How do we get on this topic? Oh, posting on Facebook.
Dude, it is weird. At one point I deleted my Twitter account, but, like, I hadn't posted in forever, and I looked back to, like, things I would post in high school.
Uh-huh.
It's like, why am I would just, like, I would be feeling a certain way and just post about it.
Yes.
And like, I give myself a pass because it was just happening. No one understood it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of ridiculous. Like,
So-
why are you posting your feelings?
Dude, this is like...
Unless it's like I get like a milestone, an achievement.
Yeah.
Like,
But I know what you're talking about, because what you're talking about is exactly what I'm seeing from like 30-year-old women the topic that I just brought up is from people still doing that at this age.
yeah.
Just stream of consciousness, no purpose, just like dumping out stuff onto a social media platform and being like, that's what it is.
Dude, I almost feel like the older generation got sideswiped by that. Like
did.
they weren't, like we also did, but we were young enough to adapt and realize like we're not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But I feel like older people, they're just as addicted as we are.
For sure. And I think they treat it like, to your point, I think it was just a giant misunderstanding of what it is. Because like our parents' generation seemed to use it like a journal. Where like they're just like, do, and like thinking that it's not just out there, that it's there's some privacy to it, which they're right, but it's just easy for it to get out if they put something kind of crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
So don't express your feelings is what we're trying to say.
on social media,
Yeah.
I
right.
mean, yeah, I mean, in general, yes, express your feelings, but man, the internet's not a place to put your feelings. I just don't think it is.
Right.
I think it's going to hurt you more than help you in most cases.
It's sad that for those people, that's probably the only avenue.
Yeah, man.
Or at least the only avenue they choose.
Yeah, because it's probably, as with a lot of these situations where it's a sadder case, it's complex as fuck.
Sure.
Like they're probably in a situation where this is the only outlet for it, or who fucking knows, but it's way easier for us to judge it and make fun of it. Which I'm for. That's why I'm doing it actively. Makes for good content. All right. Do pets view themselves as babies? Because think about this. Say you get a dog, right? And it's a puppy. When it grows up to full size, regardless of the dog, I guess you make the argument like a Great Dane could be human size, but like a lab or something like that, it's never going to be as big as you. It will stay low to the ground. Typically, you'll be bigger than your dog when it's full age.
Yeah.
But if it grew up with just like other dogs, it eventually reaches the size of like its mother or father, right? Around the same size.
Sure.
So do they just see us as like they're always puppies? Because we're always bigger. Like they'll grow, but like they won't even come close.
We're just their masters, always.
Yeah. It's like they in their head that's just like this, like almost like a god thing that's just like it forever remains.
The provider.
Yeah, dude. Where at a certain point, if they're like dog and it's dog mom, it's like, oh, hey, what's up, mom? Like we are with our parents. It's like eventually you get taller than them or as tall as them. You're like, oh, this is just my adult, but I am physically bigger or equal.
I feel like if you were a dog, you could also be like, this is my servant. It just does everything for me.
True. I wonder though, because like because take the human out of the equation, they have to go like find their food, right?
Sure.
I wonder, like, they got to see that more as like a provider thing than a servant. It seems like it requires some understanding of like, what's the word for it? Like how we would develop a caste system is
The
like highly
hierarchy.
political. Like it's very conscious in a way of like being evil. And for a dog to like conceptualize like this is lower than me.
Do you think they have that awareness?
No.
One way or the other?
Maybe no, I don't know.
I feel like it's just like, I need my needs provided for.
And this thing doesn't.
This is how it happens. I'm
Yeah.
going to live this way.
And I think there's a lot of things attached to that, but I don't know if it necessarily understands like the meaning of that relationship.
Certainly not the way we do.
No. Like I think they develop a sense of love and care and the thing that's providing, but I don't know if they're like, this is the ultimate provider. This thing is like keeps my life going.
Well, they effectively always are children to us.
Yeah.
They're at that level.
Mm.
So like, does a kid know it's a kid, or does a kid just?
I think a human.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can. I would.
It does, but I don't think it fully conceptualizes like how much their parents do for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think they understand that they are far away from an adult in terms of they might not have it on paper of all the things that a parent does, but they know that I am very separate from adult.
Yes. So I would imagine it's similar for a dog. Whatever realization they have, it's like, these are my parents, they provide for me. Without the, like, I'm going to grow up someday. It's just, that's what they are.
Yeah. You can make the argument that it's like a dog is statically a kid. Like, it's just
like if you told a kid, if you never told a kid it would grow up for a certain period of time, it would just think, this is just life. This is always going to be this way.
Yes. And so my question is, does that idea change when it's only raised with other dogs? And it goes, it sees the only thing in that, because there's no ultimate provider.
Like no humans at
No
all.
humans. There's only you growing up as a puppy.
It's be like wolves,
Yeah,
effectively.
yes. And so you're a pup, you grow up, you see the thing that gave birth to you get old and die. Does that change your relationship with the understanding of, like, you being a forever child? Because in that world, you are not a forever child. In the
you
human
got to
world,
grow up someday.
Exactly, dude.
And humans are enemies to you if you're wild.
Yeah. Or prey. Like,
Or
they could be
prey,
a bunch of things in that context. So that's why I'm like, does the psychological world of a dog change if it's like, if you have forever provider, does it go, oh, I'm always a kid? If you are not always provider, I am adult dog. I am wolf.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's similar to like a spoiled rich kid versus like
That's good.
a poor kid who grew up having
Yeah.
to like take care of himself.
There's some character in those dogs.
Absolutely.
Those dogs pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. That's what they did.
Yeah. Like rich people who have always been rich just are disconnected from the struggles of real people.
Absolutely.
Not real. That's a rough word.
Holy fuck, dude. It all comes out.
Of non-rich people.
Yeah. I guess the big question is, do dogs have different, like, does their psychology change in those situations? I don't know if we're ever going to know that, but in my head I go, if you're always providing for it, never has to learn how to do it might just stay in a state of like, I'm a puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about a while ago, I think maybe the first episode, about pigs turning feral when they get released, and they like all these instincts that were sort of suppressed just come out, and they're just wild.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just an adaptive thing. Like, if all my needs are met, why would I grow up? That's
True.
That's a deep thought on the human level.
Yeah, and it's interesting that, like, I think a lot of people think of instincts and adaptive as a physical thing in terms of, like, the way they represent themselves, but the impact that it has psychologically, it could be very real. Like, a dog's thought process could be very different from when it's out in the wild and when it's actually in a home being fed 3 meals a day. But
dude, I feel like I experienced this, like, my parents, maybe this says I was spoiled, but like my parents most often did my laundry when I was growing up.
Sure.
To an extent, and then like later in life when I just had to do my own laundry, that wasn't built in, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I need to change.
Well, dude, and it's crazy too, because when you do things when you're learning anything, whether it be laundry or, I don't know, quantum physics, it adds something to you at every level. Whatever to just do something that typically you were having done for yourself or you couldn't do. I don't want to say it adds character, because doing laundry,
take on responsibility.
It does. It gives you, pride's maybe the wrong word, but it gives you confidence. And it's weird because almost at every level, if you're trying to, like, build someone's confidence up, and say they're bad at dating and they don't, it's mostly a confidence thing. And like, they don't feel good about themselves enough to go do the thing.
Sure.
And doing things not related to dating that you can accomplish. Right. It really translates.
It goes to all areas. Building confidence.
Yeah.
No matter what you could be good at.
Yeah. Dude, I was listening to Matt and Shane's Secret podcast, Shane Gillis' thing, and Shane's been gone for a while because they're filming the second season of Tires, so it's just been Matt McCusker. And I forgot his name, but he's one of the Jackass guys who, a lot of those guys suffer with addiction. At one point, like, heavy addiction. And what's his name? But this guy has turned his life around. He, like,
Steve-O?
No, it's like he was more famous in Viva La Bam and Bam's group. Oh, we're like at an hour. I'll cap it with this, but he's turned it all around after years of heroin addiction, alcohol addiction, blah blah blah. And he said the biggest through line for, like, getting him to like solve his own problems was trying to help one person. You can just whatever shape that is, and we're not talking like, helps hold a door open for like actually find some avenue to which you can help one person, whether it be through education, being a friend, something like. Start there, and it makes you want to like be alive, so to speak.
Sure.
His condition was extreme, but it's like if you're ever looking for a purpose, start there.
Yeah.
Help a person. It will guide you to a place where you will find that purpose. So.
Yeah, I've heard the take when, like, if a lot of people I think go through this process, like if you have a friend that's depressed, or just going through some shit, and you have your own problems, a lot of people will have the thought like, oh, I don't want to dump more on their plates.
Yeah.
But I think the opposite's actually true. Giving someone an opportunity to help you can actually help them.
That's
like,
a great point.
It feels good to like maybe ignore your problems for a second and just talk about someone else and help them work through something. I think that's kind of similar to what...
Dude, I never even thought about that. Because I've definitely been the person... If I have a person troubled I'm trying to help, I would never, ever... tell them my shit, but that's a great point. Because
I think to a degree, it's like if you were always dumping on them,
totally. But what you're saying is going with what I'm saying. Like in them helping me, even if they're struggling to some degree, it could give them some of their life back in some kind of form.
It's also interesting that he would say to find any purpose is just helping someone else. That's beautiful. Yeah, dude. And he's just talking from like he did that, and it is the thing that made it all better, is starting to lean towards a life of like help someone. You'll find something through that. Yeah. I feel like a lot of sadness and depression comes from just feeling worthless. Feeling like you serve no purpose.
Totally. And a lot of people are feeling that.
Yeah.
And imagine you get a system where a lot of people are just helping one person. And then it's just like everyone's helping everybody.
Spread the love.
Yeah, brother.
This is beautiful.
I think it's a good point to end on. Spread the love.
Spread it wide.
All right. We'll see you next week, people. Bye-bye.